All right, can I have your attention, please? I'd like to bring this meeting to order. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please remove your hats or head coverings. Civilians, place your right hand over your heart. Veterans, active duty military personnel not in uniform may render the military hand salute. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call. The secretary will call the roll.
Commissioner Mann,
Here.
Commissioner Tolson,
Here.
Commissioner Rice,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Kennedy,
Here?
Chairperson.
Wrong one, sorry.
Oh, so sorry. My apologies. Chairperson Kennedy
Here.
and Commissioner Chrisman.
Here.
Okay, approval of the agenda. May I have a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Unless there are any objections, the agenda stands approved. Seeing none. Approval of the minutes. May I have a motion for approval of the minutes of the June 3rd, 2026 meeting?
Move to approve the minutes of June 3rd, 2026.
I'll second.
A motion was made by Commissioner Rice and, and seconded by Commissioner Mann. Unless there are any objections, the minutes are approved. Seeing none. Declaration of conflict. The secretary will read the declaration of conflict.
If any member of the Planning Commission may have a conflict of interest or any reason why that member must abstain from consideration of any matter on this agenda, he or she should so declare at this time.
Seeing none. Next item is public statements. This is the time allotted for public statements or comments on all items other than public hearing items. Is there anyone in the chamber wishing to be heard? That's really quiet. All right. Correspondence. The next item, 8, is correspondence. Is there any correspondence from the Deputy Director, City Planner?
Yes, Chairperson Kennedy, members of the Planning Commission, we have correspondence received tonight. One of them is a supplemental staff report for agenda item 11A1. The second one is a supplemental staff report for agenda item 11A2. And we also have a piece of late correspondence provided to you at your dais for 11A2 as well, which came in as late correspondence.
Okay, that takes care of that. Consent calendar is next, item number 9. I believe there are no consent calendar items at this time. Continued business, item number 10. And if I'm correct, there are no continued business items at this time. Correct? Okay, now we're on to new business. Item number 11, that's 11-A-1, public hearings. This is the time and place set for public hearings on the consideration of CUP-S-2026-007, and a determination that the project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, therefore. Are there any ex parte communications to report?
Yes. I spoke with the applicant over the phone answering some of the questions on the project.
Thank you.
I don't know if my account says an ex parte. I talked to my city council.
Okay, thank you. Yeah?
Yes, I got a text from my council member saying that he was in favor of the project.
I also talked to my council member and also had several phone calls with the applicants, gaining more information on that. Okay, are we done with that? All right. May we have an oral report on this matter by staff?
Yes, Chairperson Kennedy, this is the conditional use permit request to allow a indoor recreation facility billiards hall located at 3200 East Los Angeles Avenue, units 23 to 27. Our assistant planner, Mark Nason, has tonight's presentation.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. Tonight, we will be reviewing a request for a conditional use permit to allow an indoor recreation facility, including 15 billiards tables and a bar area. The project is zoned commercial plan development located on the south side of East Los Angeles Avenue. To the north of the project are single-family residencies. To the south of the project is an adult education center. To the east of the project is an existing commercial building and a Golden State Water District lot. And to the west is a vacant lot and a paved parking lot. The homes to the north are roughly 365 feet from the unit. The nearest home to the project unit is approximately 200 feet away to the east. The project is located at 3200 East Los Angeles Avenue, Suites 23 to 27 on the southeast corner of the property. This project does not propose any changes on site nor to the building. The project requires 3 off-street parking spaces per billiard table. With 15 proposed billiard tables, 45 parking spaces are required. Accordingly, parking requirements are met. Provided here is the proposed floor plan, which includes 15 billiards tables of 2 different sizes, a shuffleboard table, 4 televisions on each side of the center supporting beam, restroom facilities, a storage room, a bar area, 2 front doors and 1 rear door, and tables and chairs along the interior perimeter. The billiard hall proposes to operate Sunday through Saturday, 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. Please note that a 2 a.m. closing time for billiard halls is permitted by Simi Valley Municipal Code Section 5-5.06 with approval of a conditional use permit. The business also includes a shuffleboard, table and darts, and daily league tournaments. However, the business is open to the public for casual play. The applicant also holds a Type 40 license for on-sale beer only from California Alcohol and Beverage Control, ABC. At the administrative hearing held on July 2nd, 2026, members of the public expressed concerns about the project related to the potential noise impacts combined with the 2 a.m. closing time. The applicant team indicated that the requested closing time is crucial to their business model as tournaments may extend late into the night. Staff has, Staff has proposed special conditions for consideration to ensure that neighbors are not disturbed. These conditions include requiring separate permits for dancing or amplified music, keeping doors shut when not being used for purposes of ingress and egress, prohibiting loitering and excessive noise outside the unit, ensuring the use stays principally a billiard room, and setting up a CUP review process provided there are verified violations for the business. The applicant team has agreed to these conditions. Staff recommends the Planning Commission adopt a resolution approving the proposed conditional use permit and the determination that the project is categorically exempt from CEQA. This concludes staff's presentation, and we are available for questions.
Thank you, staff. At this time, we'll open the public testimony portion of the hearing. Would the applicant like to present the project at this time?
My name is Robert Matola. I am the president of RM Designs, residential and commercial planners, right here locally in Simi Valley since 1989. I started my business here. We've been designing buildings here for a very long time. In Simi Valley alone, we've designed and completed over 640 projects within this city. I don't know anybody else who's done that yet, so if you know anybody, let me know. This project here for Billiards Plaza is a longstanding staple in the city of Simi Valley community, and it's the city's only billiard hall. For 15 years, it's served as a gathering place for locals, and its displacement from its longtime home at 2261 Tapo Street leaves a gap in the community that no other businesses here in Simi currently fill. This is evident by the majority of attendees in support of this project tonight, I believe. This application is at its core a relocation. Billiard Plaza is not introducing a new or unproven concept to this city. This is an established operator moving into a 4,500 square foot unit within a commercial zone through a straightforward tenant improvement with no exterior expansion or major site work involved other than any upgrades that are going to be required by building and safety due to ADA and accessibility standards. Alcohol service will be limited to beer only. There is no plan for distilled spirits, and the alcohol component remains incidental to the recreational use of this space, rather than the focus of the business. Finally, this is not a rundown, dated billiard plaza or hall people may envision when they hear the term billiard hall, clearly. The business model centers on a full experience in a brand new, purpose-built space designed to be a genuine attraction with brand new lighting, professional tables, shuffleboard, darts, pinball machines, and of course, great service by a well-known and local operator. I don't want to be redundant. Mr. Nason covered most of the design elements of the project, and if you have any questions related to operations, business hours, how they're operating the business, the owners are here, Anna and Vic. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for the applicant at this time?
I got one question. Confirming, this is a relocation of an existing business. How long were they in business prior?
They were in business for 15 years prior. They were relocated due to the Tapo apartment complex development that basically evicted them.
Are you designing that one too?
Developers
Just
moved
kidding,
in, yeah. No, I didn't design that one,
Okay.
no.
And then the
I live
hours,
here, so, yeah. I
the
didn't
hours are
design
the
that.
same as they were before?
Are the hours the same?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah,
We're not done yet.
sure.
Anybody else? I have a few questions. Please describe any security measures that you had at the old place and at your new existing location.
Security was basically our staff. Our place, it's a very family-oriented place, very safe place. Everybody, all our patrons are very respectful and just honorable people. I can say that. As you can see, a lot of them are here today. Our place is not, a bad place. It's a clean environment, friendly, family-oriented place. And so basically security wasn't needed. Usually our staff was in charge of, basically kind of checking bathrooms, for cleanliness, going outside, checking the parking lot, make sure that everything is, okay. Just things like that, but nothing, no security guard, because none was ever really needed.
Thank you. You answered a couple other questions I had about how do you manage the patrons leaving the business at night? That was in there. Parking issues. I drove the project again today, and it seems like there's plenty of parking.
It's actually probably one of the most empty parking lots you'll find in Simi Valley. We'd love to, have somebody rent out reciprocal parking at this space compared to some of the other centers here, which I feel have been overparked. in the past. But yeah, this space does not lack for parking. It has a great deal of surplus.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it, Robert.
Thank you.
All right, is there anyone in the chamber wishing to be heard on this matter? And I have a lot of green cards. In counting the green cards, we've got about an hour's worth of talking points here. So what I would like to do is ask if we can reduce the allotted time from 3 minutes to 2 minutes. Good there? Okay. So that's what we'll do. And I will take these cards in the order that I have them. And should I read these first? Yes. Do these first? Okay. This is where I get to butcher names. Hang on. So these are do not wish to speak. It's a good one. Bob Hodgkins is in support. Lisa Weatherthal is in support. Patishka Pareb is in support. Michael Hansen, thank you, Michael, is in support. Kenneth Metcalf is in support. Anthony Coda in support. Sidney Luche in support. Joseph Lay in support. John Lindhorst in support. Annika Mertscher, if I'm reading that correctly, is in support. Thank you. Elizabeth Mundial in support. Oh, okay, here we go. Mason Summers in opposition. Put that one over here. Shane Summers in opposition. It says of ours. It was specific. Sida Sehrali in support. Steve Arando in support. Millette Arando in support. Scott Robinson in support. Sarah Lynn in support. Duff Lynn in support. Carrie Lynn in support. And Mike Lynn in support. Okay, those are the people that did not want to speak. Here. So our first speaker in this deck, again, 2 minutes, would be Troy Ballman. Troy, thank you.
Hi there, thank you for letting me speak. My name's Troy. I'm a building inspector here in town. I work quite closely with Mark Anfleck and all the city inspectors since Dave Austin hired me about almost 20 years ago. So I know these people. I know most of the players and people in this room. Hannah and Vic are not just friends, they've kind of become family at some point. Anyone in opposition to their request doesn't know them. They are the community. They were essential. During COVID, they were the first place that opened up and had everybody come back in and start feeling regular again. These people are fantastic and deserve this. And I'm here in support of them. So I'll keep it brief. And thank you very much for letting me speak.
Thank you. The next speaker is Debbie Day.
Hello. I agree with everything Troy just said. I want to impress upon you the importance of the pool hall to Simi Valley. I'm a resident homeowner. It's a great gathering place. It's a really cool melting pot of all different ages and backgrounds. Music is not loud and overpowering. We like to hear each other. It's background music. It's not blasting. You really don't even hear it before you walk in the door. I'm a regular. I've been part of this community for 10 years here in Simi, and Hannah and Vic are the kind of people we want as business owners here in Simi. They truly care about their customers. I have seen them at funerals of former customers. It's not just who's gonna pay us and who's gonna bring us money. They put on special events for those customers. Them hosting these leagues and tournaments brings a lot of people from outside of Simi Valley to our area who spend money on gas and in our restaurants and in our stores. And I can understand people's hesitancy as a homeowner also, but I find Vic and Hannah to be completely compliant with rules, caring, concerned with their customers, and very observant of what's going on during the night. Thank you.
Thank you. The next gentleman is Ted Rogoff, if I've got that. I guess, got it. Thank you.
Thank you for hearing me. I appreciate it. My name is Ted Rogoff, and I have a very personal story for Hannah and Vic, wherever they are. Thank you so much, seriously. So I started playing pool, it was in 2015, and I became very involved in the community. And I played pool on Monday nights and on Wednesday nights. And come 2019, I got a very serious illness. It was called aplastic anemia. And I needed to go into the hospital for a couple weeks. And so my team got together with Hannah and Vic, and we had pizza at a pizza parlor, and they constructed this whole thing over a whole week of getting together and trying to figure out how they can donate money and get money for me for my illness. And they had a specific event every single night for a whole week. And I gotta tell you, they raised over $7,500 for me. And I just seriously, I get emotional. I'm an emotional person, but it meant a lot. Thank you. And I just can't think of anything better than having something like that in our community. I've lived out here for 10 years. I just recently moved out. I'm getting married. I moved into the valley. But I gotta tell you, I just, my children, after I got better, and I started, they came onto my team. My son-in-law, my daughter was playing. Debbie Day, who just spoke up here, her daughter plays here. There's just so many people where all of our children play with us. Maybe one day my grandchildren will play with me as well. Anyways, I support them, and I really hope you can find in favor to keeping Billiard Plaza where it's always been for 15 years. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Phil Brooker.
Good evening. I'm Phil Brooker. I run the largest pool league that is in Billiard Plaza, or was in before they had to shut down. I have a favorite saying, and that is, there are two kinds of people in this world. There are those who like billiards and those who will. They just don't know it yet. And I challenge anybody that's in opposition to try out Billiard Plaza if this project goes through and see whether they like billiards or not. I mean, I can tell you right now they will. You look over this room, you see a whole array of people from different walks of life. Billiards is a sport that anybody can play. It's good for old people, it's good for young people. It's good for retirees, it's good for professionals, it's good for parents and children. We have many parent and children. We have over 2,000 customers in our league. Some of them are parents and children, some of them are parents and grandchildren. We have a fourth generation this coming. We'll have 4 generations of pool players, because what billiards does is build communities. And to build communities, you need somebody who's going to pay attention to the community. And the owners of Billiard Plaza pay attention. I've never seen any situation get out of hand at Billiard Plaza. Prior to Billiard Plaza, I moved here in '93, and there was a pool hall in that location when I moved here. And I've never seen any trouble from any pool hall. I'm going to use the extra minute that the first guy didn't use.
Not really how it works, but thank you. I
You
appreciate
hear
your
all
comments.
the people laughing, they're used to it. No, I wanted to say, now I forgot, so I better quit.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, our next speaker is Sienna Reta. There we go. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for letting me speak. As kind of tagging on with everyone else, I play in the pool league with my dad. It's something that I get to spend time with him, get to build community. Some of my best friends now are in the pool league, and being able to play at a table. Even when I was going to, and I've lived in Simi my whole life, when I was going to school at CSUN, I would drive back to Simi because that's the place to be. Billiard Plaza was on Tapo. And so just telling my friends, okay, let's go hang out, this great spot, very friendly, very quiet. Tagging on what other people have said as well. Can't really hear the music outside of the building. It's very much a friendly family environment. And I think that Hannah and Vic are outstanding people and that they pay attention to a lot of the details and they care about the community. I'm wholeheartedly in support, and I thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. Okay, the next speaker is Dan Natarami? Close. Okay, we'll go with that.
Hi, good evening, council members. My name is Dan Natarelli. I'm here to support Billiard Plaza staying in Simi Valley. This permit matters because Simi Valley is losing places like this. Billiard Plaza didn't fail. Their landlord sold the land. They're only doing what we ask small businesses to do: reinvest, relocate, and stay in Simi Valley instead of leaving for Westlake or Thousand Oaks. And here's why that matters for other businesses. On league and tournament nights, my friends drive in from San Fernando Valley, Camarillo, Thousand Oaks, Santa Clarita, Oxnard, Newbury Park. Before we ever rock a ball, we get gas in Simi, we have dinner in Simi, we stop and shop in Simi. Billiard Plaza brings outside money into restaurants, gas station, and stores at least 4 to 6 nights a week. There was a rumor that they are asked to close at 10 o'clock. Their historic hours have always been 5 to 2 a.m., same as they did pre-COVID. A 10 p.m. close doesn't reduce the impact. It eliminates the business. Leagues start at 7. A family comes in to dinner after 9, they are not going to play for an hour and go home. It just won't happen. If you close them at 10, you're giving Simi Valley another vacant storefront and 8 to 10 more people looking for jobs. If you let them keep the hours they've opened for years, until 2, you keep the sales tax in the city, you keep a safe, supervised, family-friendly place for adults to go. You send a message that if you survive a landlord selling your business, Simi Valley will still fight to keep you. Please approve their use permit at 2 a.m., same as before. Keep a Simi Valley small business in Simi Valley. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Martin Molina. And to cue it up, Christina Miller will be after that.
Hi, my name is Martin Molina. I have lived in Simi Valley for about 30 years. I started going to Billiard Plaza 15, 20 years ago. It's a family-oriented business. My son and my daughter used to be in the league when they were in Simi Valley. Now that they moved to Moore Park, it's a little hard for them, but I always felt safe there, to the point where even my grandkids, 2 of my grandkids I will take them there, and my granddaughter Aveni was shooting a couple of times with some special toy they have as a cue stick. It's a great place, and for the people opposing, believe me, they got the wrong perception. That place is quiet, safe. You don't hear the music until you're inside the place. So please allow us to keep Billiard Plaza in Simi Valley. Thank you.
Thank you. Christina Miller.
Can I speak from here? I have a bad hip. Is that okay?
Yeah, we can certainly hear you from there.
That's why I did that.
Huh?
All right. I want to talk to the noise issue. I live in the marketplace, which butted up right against Billiard Plaza. And on that drawing, I think it said the nearest house was like 200 feet away. I'm probably about the same distance, maybe less. You can't hear anything. I have never heard any complaints from any of the people, any of my neighbors that live in the marketplace about Billiard Plaza being loud. I left there once at 1 a.m. and it was perfect because I could just walk around the corner. It was wonderful. So to the people who are worried about noise, as everyone has said, it's not music blaring outside of the thing. It's not people being rowdy outside of the place. No one in my complex, which is right up against it, I mean, all of you know where it was, but I live in the marketplace, like I said, right off of Eileen and Topo, and I would walk there, which was perfect, because then you're not driving under the influence. You're not. I was very safe. I would leave there at 1 a.m. No issues. Nobody's outside. You can't hear the music at all. And so I probably live less than 200 feet away, and if that's where the nearest house is, you're not going to be hearing a bunch of loud noise at 2 a.m.
Thank you very much. Next speaker is Joseph Gonzalez.
Good evening. Thanks for letting me speak. And I just want to say that I moved here 7 years ago and didn't know anybody. First place I went to was billiards, and they were friendly. They introduced me to people, got me on the team the next day, and it's been like a family ever since. They have parties, Christmas, you know, all kinds of parties for people, their birthdays, and it's like a family. One thing, I was at the last meeting, one thing I didn't hear anybody talk about is you're taking away somebody's livelihood. You're costing a family. It's a family business, mother, father, the kids work there. You have to think about, you want to be the people that say, we're not going to let this family continue their business after 15 years? Because what, noise? With the train that's going right by there anyway? I mean, you're not going to stop the train, are you? So it's a family business. Let's think about that. Somebody's livelihood is here. I know because I've lost businesses. I've been in business a lot of times. So it's not something good to people that's already been in business for a long time and everybody in the community respects them. Let's think about that.
Thank you. Next speaker is Jason Grappel? Grappel. Got it.
I never really done this before, so I'm actually really nervous. And I'm a big talker, but I am 100% nervous. I know Hannah and Vic for about 10 years, I want to say, a good 10, 12 years. And they've always been a really, really respectable business. They always cared about everybody else. For instance, I used to have a major problem of drinking, and I would always have a designated driver home. I never drove home drunk. But when I decided to quit drinking, Hannah and Vic supported it. A lot of people in here supported it, and they made sure I never drank another beer after that. And they've always been there for people. They always run a really good community. The music, you really cannot hear it at all because we're talking inside there, and the pool hall has always been a place for people to learn how to play pool and go and teach and learn just how to play and have fun. And it's always been real quiet, enjoyable, a fun place. And thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Next speaker is Angela, and it's kind of scribbled, Alasia, never mind. Angela, come on up. And please state your name for the record, since I couldn't.
Hi, my name is Angela Slanyan. I'm not too fond of public speaking, so excuse me if I slip on my words a little bit, but I know you brought up security measures. I have been working at Billiard Plaza for many, many years. We also do have a great camera surveillance system. We know everything that's going on in there at all times. I myself am extremely observant. I work there 5 days a week. I know exactly what's going on, and if there's anything out of line, I have no problem stopping it. But to touch on that, there really isn't much going on besides playing pool, having a great time together. If I could take you back 15 years and show you Billiard Plaza then to now, you would see the difference. We've built a community, we've built a family. I consider all these people family. And ever since we've closed our doors, I get questions. When are you coming back? We want you back. We miss you guys. And Billiard Plaza is the reason I know of Simi Valley, and it's the reason I moved to Simi Valley 2 years ago. So I don't want my second home taken away. None of us do, and we would very much appreciate if you let us back in, because the noise complaint, I can promise you it's really not bad. Once that door's shut, which it will be shut at all times, everything's just going on inside. And you can come check it out for yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Gabriel Lee.
Hi, my name is Gabriel Lee. Everybody else has pretty much said what's needed to be said. Noise, all that stuff. I used to be there back when it was a different time, different place, and I know it got kind of out of hand back then, but this place, like everybody has said, it's nothing like that, you know? There's no, no rowdiness, no obnoxious people, nothing like that. You know, it's a nice, quiet place. It's a good place to call home and have fun with your friends, you know, bring your family, all that stuff, you know. So, like Angela said, we'd like to have our second home back, you know, like that's all we need.
Great, thank you. Next speaker is speaking in opposition of the hours, Tammy Summers.
I apologize, my voice may crack when I publicly speak. I admin the local Simi Valley Foodies group with over 14,000 members. I donate countless hours to all the local businesses. John Tolson can attest to that. It's a lot of my life. I will support this business. No one is opposition of the business. Our issue is we've lived across the street for 25 years. All of the parking lot noise funnels right into our backyards on Hilldale. All of my neighbors agree, nobody was able to make it. The noise from Burger Express when they close, the car doors slamming, the engines revving, people talking in the parking lot, it wakes everybody up. So it's not an opposition of music or anything like that. It's just when people are leaving at 2 a.m., it wakes us all up. 9 years ago, there was a hookah lounge there, and between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., it was constant parking lot noise of people slamming their doors and starting their engines and squealing their tires. And we get it now. El Capitan, Mexican, which is even further down when they have music nights now. Luckily, they end it by 9, funnels straight into our neighborhood. You go for a walk and it's like a concert in our backyard. So any noise at 2 a.m. that's gonna wake us up is what people need to consider. If you lived across the street, you don't wanna be waking up at 2 a.m. There's really no controlling how people start their cars and slam their doors. You know, hopefully there's some security measure when they're taking them out. I don't know what could be done for that. But that's our main concern, is the car noise in the parking lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, the next speaker is Alec St. John.
Hello, my name is Alex St. John. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of Billiards Plaza and the billiards community. I understand there has been some concerns from community members about the reopening of Billiards Plaza. I think it's important to call it that, a reopening, because this business has already been a part of this community for over 15 years and has rarely, if ever, had any issues that would require law enforcement or even security. Personally, I've been a customer of Billiards Plaza and a member of our local pool league for around 5 years now, and have never witnessed any sort of conflict, fight, erratic behavior, loitering, or any other behavior that would cause concern. I completely understand the stigma that could come from from the pool halls of yesteryears and the element that came with that, but that is long gone. A vast majority of patrons that frequent Billiards Plaza are members of local pool leagues that are made up of community of people who share the same passion for the game, none of which represents the old stereotypes of hustlers, criminals, or troublemakers. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's a community that not only has developed close bonds and cares for each other, as you can witness tonight, but also cares about the establishment. It's like a second home for many of us, and certainly not a place to cause trouble. It's not only pool leagues that frequent Billiards Plaza, but over the years I've watched many couples on dates, as well as plenty of young adults come spend their nights and enjoy their time in a safe environment, enjoying a wholesome activity with limited things for the youth to do in a smaller town like Simi Valley. As for the concern of sound in particular, I can assure you that while there may be background music playing during business hours, it is certainly not at loud levels. None of us want loud, blaring music while we are taking the game seriously and try to focus on performance. Remember, this is first and foremost a place to play pool, and it's not a dance club or a concert venue. There are many places in town that have live music and even louder music that is considerably louder. It's really no different than a gym or restaurant having background music. Never have I had an experience where I needed to even raise my voice to speak while inside at Billiards Plaza. It is unfortunate there is any concern, conflict, or controversy generated from folks that have never visited or are unfamiliar with this establishment, its patrons, or the billiards community. Thank you again for this opportunity to speak, and I hope you take into consideration the overwhelmingly positive aspects of Billiards Plaza and the community it facilitates and represents. Thank you.
Thank you. Hana Aslanian? It looks like an H-A-N-A, or, no? A-S-L-A? Oh, that's the applicant. I missed that on that. Sorry, my bad. And Vic Aslanian. Okay, got it. All right, so are there any comments from staff regarding the statements made during this public hearing?
Yes. I'd like to point our attention to some of these special conditions that the Planning Division put in place. So could we put it on the screen? So special condition A10 states that exterior doors must not be propped open. In addition to that, we have special condition A11 stating that the permittee must not allow patrons to loiter, congregate, consume alcoholic beverages, smoke, vape, or create excessive noise in any outdoor area, including parking areas, walkways, or landscaped areas adjacent to the tenant space. And I'm happy to answer any further questions.
We have no other comments.
Say again?
No other staff comments.
I have a question real quick. Could you bring up the overall site map showing the surrounding uses? And the Hilldale is
On the very bottom.
yeah, East Hilldale there at the very bottom. Okay, I'm just trying to get. So we've got.
Our bedroom windows are facing it.
Yeah, four plus lanes and train tracks, and then Hilldale on that side. Okay, I was confused. I thought maybe it was the closer over there off of Crater Avenue. Okay, thank you for that. Would the applicant like to respond to any of the comments regarding statements made during the public hearing? The applicants?
He said no.
Nope, that's a negative, okay. If there are no further questions, we will close the public testimony portion of the hearing. Are there any comments or questions from members of the Planning Commission at this time?
I guess I'll start. One of the concerns was safety and security.
Yep.
And thank you, Sean, for providing us with Commissioner Salson's questions, so we all got that ahead of time. I actually took a step further and I called the Simi PD. I talked to a patrol officer, And she confirmed with me that there is no problem with this business and has never been a problem. In fact, she didn't even know that they closed. So that's how. In the other comments, I heard you speaking about the noise, and I appreciate the staff putting an E13 as well, a condition, so that there is a possibility to revoke the license or permit in case there is noise complaints, repeated noise complaints, and I guess offense. And generally am in favor of any business, and I appreciate businesses staying in Simi. So that's my comment.
There we go. Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay.
Go ahead. Thank you.
All right. This is just an existing business moving, really. And as far as I'm concerned, I live closer to where Billiards Plaza was. And I've even been in the parking lot while the business was open and never heard the business. I heard Mission Burrito many times, but I never heard Billiards Plaza. This is much farther away from those homes than it was before, as the lady pointed out who lives in this closer apartments. And I understand the frustration of people in parking lots at night, but that could happen with any business. And I don't know that it would happen any more with this business than it would with some other business that might move in there. As she said, that if it's happening with Burger Express, then it could happen with this. So, yeah, exactly. But, you know, our ordinance says they could be there till 2 a.m. I mean, yes, it's true, we could limit that, but we're moving a business from who was open until 2 a.m. to another place, and I think the fair thing to do would be to give them the same hours that they had before. I mean, it seems the logical thing to do. I would hate to take away from a business that's already there. I don't know what a solution would be for you across the street, other than, I don't know, landscaping or something like that, some sort of sound deadening thing, but I don't know how on earth that would work. So that being said, this is just as far as I'm concerned, this is an existing business moving to another location into a strip mall, which has a lot of open spaces. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Commissioner Rice.
I'm good.
Ann Tolson?
Commissioner Chrisman took my question about calls for service, and Vice Chair Rice took my comments about it's exactly that. It's an existing business that is just moving from point A to point B. So, no, nothing further from me.
Okay, we move to the next section. May I please have a reading of the resolution?
Resolution number SVPC 09-2026, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Simi Valley approving conditional use permit CUP S 2026-0007 to allow an indoor recreation facility billiards hall, including 15 billiard tables and a bar area located at 3200 East Los Angeles Avenue, Units 23 through 27, and a determination that the project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act.
Thank you. The chair will now entertain a motion.
I move to adopt a resolution approving CUP S 2026-0007.
I'll second it.
Yeah, motion was made by Commissioner Chrisman. May I have a second?
Second.
By Commissioner Mann. Call for the vote.
Vote passes unanimously.
The appeal period for CUP-S-2026-0007 is 14 calendar days. All right. We're on to, thank you. Hey, folks, can we move it outside? We've got more business to do here. Thank you. Okay, we'll get back underway here. Next item, item 11, new business, item 11-A or .A.2. This is the time and place set for a public hearing on the consideration of CD-S-2025-0001, TT-2025-0004, and the determination that the project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act. Are there any ex parte communications to report?
Yes, Chairperson. On Monday, I had about a 10-minute conversation with Mr. Dean Kanicki, mostly about oak trees.
I also had a conversation with Mr. Dean Kanicki about the project. And if I start sharing all of the questions that I had, we would be in the public hearing for 2.5 hours. So I will address that later. But I want to say that I'm very appreciative in the communication that we were given and all of our questions and answers to be answered ahead of time. So thank you.
I also had a conversation with the consultant from the applicant over the phone.
Commissioner Mann?
Oh, sure, why not? I also spoke with Mr. Dean Kanicki earlier today. Not so much about oak trees.
And I, too, spoke with Dean on several occasions. May we have an oral report on this matter by staff?
Yes, Chairperson Kennedy. Yes, tonight is a public hearing for the proposed cluster development permit and tentative tract map to construct a 58-unit single-family development on a 19-acre parcel located basically at the east end of Cochran Street at 6024 East Cochran Street, and also a determination that the project's categorically exempt. Our Associate Planner, Neil Morissette, will have tonight's presentation.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. Tonight, we will be reviewing a request for a cluster development permit and tentative map to construct 58 single-family homes on a 19.53 acre parcel and the creation of one remainder parcel. The project site is located on a 19.53 acre vacant site located at the easternmost stretch of Cochran Street. The site is surrounded by existing residential development to the east, south, and west, and is bordered by the 118 freeway to the north. The existing site is situated on a predominantly barren hillside with the exception of 14 trees, 5 of which are protected trees. The protected trees consist of 3 valley oaks, 1 coast live oak, and 1 Apello pine. These trees will be removed as part of the project's proposed grading. The assessed value will be mitigated on site or paid to the city. A cluster development permit is being requested to build 58 single-family homes. To accomplish the requested project, a tentative map is being proposed to merge 3 existing parcels to create 63 lots and 1 remainder parcel. The 63 lots will consist of 58 numbered lots for the single-family homes and 5 lettered lots to be used as common or open space. Though the remainder parcel is being utilized for grading purposes, it is not part of the proposed cluster development permit, and as such will not have any homes built upon it. The proposed single-family home lots will range from 4,800 square feet to 24,000 square feet. The variation of lot sizes is due to the site's substantial sloped areas. Portions of the slopes will be privately owned by each parcel, but will be maintained by the HOA. A homeowners association will be created to manage common space portions, including streets, slopes, and open spaces. Site access will be provided from Cochrane Street via 2 private streets. These private streets will incorporate 51 on-street parking spaces, but will exclude separate pedestrian sidewalks. The project amenities will include 1 large park, 1 large dog park, 1 smaller dog park, a water filling station, and a trail system that runs throughout the project. 3 2-story plans are being proposed, each with 3 different architectural styles. The house plans will range in size from approximately 2,000 square feet to 3,000 square feet. The design styles offered will be a farmhouse style, which incorporates tile roofs, metal awnings, board and batten siding, stucco, and masonry veneer. The craftsman style incorporates a tile roof, green siding, masonry veneer, and decorative wood accessories. The Spanish style incorporates an S-style tile roof, white stucco, precast concrete still, terracotta faux vents, and decorative wood accessories. In the traffic study prepared for the project, it was identified that the project would generate approximately 547 average daily trips, with 41 morning peak hour trips and 54 evening trips. The city's traffic engineer confirmed that the additional trips would not significantly affect the existing intersection or traffic operations in the area. Staff sees 2 potential issues with the project proposal. The project includes a proposed trail system for resident use, which traverses slope areas at the rear of homes with lack of public visibility. Staff recommends removal of the trails due to potential risks with unauthorized access, as well as liability for future homeowners and the HOA. If the Planning Commission desires a removal of the trail system, a condition could be added to omit them as detailed in the staff report. The project site plan also omits separate sidewalks adjacent to the private streets. This would require pedestrians to walk in the streets with traffic and next to parked cars. In addition, some segments of driveways are steep, furthering potential conflicts. There are no objective standards in the Simi Valley Municipal Code that requires private sidewalks, and similar gated communities in Simi Valley omit these sidewalks. Staff recommends the addition of sidewalks to improve mobility and safety on the site. If the Planning Commission desires sidewalks, the plan would require a redesign to account for widening street segments and require follow-up review. The project is statutorily exempt under CEQA guidelines sections 15183B and is exempt from additional environmental review. This section allows for a streamlined environmental review for projects that are consistent with the general plan's environmental impact report findings. These findings are detailed in the staff report. As a reminder, to approve the project, it must meet the required findings for a cluster development permit and tentative map findings as detailed in the general plan and the Simi Valley Municipal Code. Staff has determined the proposed project meets the required findings as detailed in the resolution. Staff recommends the Planning Commission adopt a resolution approving the proposed cluster development permit, tentative map, and the determination that the project is statutorily exempt from CEQA. This concludes staff presentation, and we are available for questions.
Thank you very much, staff, for that. Questions of staff from the commissioners? Okay, I'll start. I noticed that this had some unique concerns associated with the trails. Now, there are other developments within Simi Valley you mentioned that have similar configurations. What specifically on the trails are we concerned with if the HOA is going to maintain those and take care of them?
To clarify, there was two different concerns, one being the trail system and one being the sidewalks.
Right.
There's other developments that admit sidewalks, so that would be the one that there's other locations in Simi that have that. The trail system, I'm not familiar with other developments that have a private trail system that runs throughout. Some of the concerns that have came up to staff, and let me see if I can get you an example from the site plan as well while I'm talking about this. Give me a second. And I'll try to point out. So
I'm just trying to get a feel for the concerns. Yeah.
So there's a trail system that's kind of guided here in the red that goes around the whole perimeter of the site. At some points, it goes through some sloped areas, and in other points, it goes through, most places, it goes through the private properties of these owners. It's in this area where any risk of this type of activity, someone gets injured, someone's in someone else's someone's property, staff sees that there could be potential issues, liabilities that are put both on the homeowners, but also on the HOA of people traversing those sites. Could be a potential issue, could not be. It's just one of those things that it's a little unique to see a private trail system running through not just common space, but through privately owned spaces that's both the responsibility of the resident, but also the entire complex. So that was one of the concerns.
And Commissioner, Chairperson Kennedy, to follow up on that, some of this is potentially privacy issues, which could be a concern. There's adjacent homeowners at the south, at the bottom of the screen there, which are off-site on this drawing that would also abut their property. So there could be concern with just people using a trailer, which may be a public visibility or lack of privacy or public visibility issue for various situations. In addition, it's not a required amenity, but there's potentially concern with ongoing maintenance and possible liability of HOA. So that was a concern we wanted to raise to the commission for their input.
Any potential issues for the city in this? It sounds like they're all pretty well absorbed by the HOA and the construction of the HOA.
Any concern, well, this is going to be privately maintained and it's on private property, so city bears no liability as to what would happen on the trails.
Okay, thank you. That answers that question for me. Thank you.
I have a question too, when you get a chance.
Chairperson?
Yes.
Oh,
I have a
I'm sorry.
question. I wanted to piggyback on your question. Isn't Bridle Path also a community that has their own trail system as well as Big Sky that connects to the trail system with Park and Rec? I don't know if I'm correct in that, but
Yeah, and maybe I defer to Sean as well. I know Big Sky, none of this would be connected to Parks and Rec if we're using that as an example. Back to some of what the deputy director talked about is liability would solely be on these private owners, and it's not to say that it's not a possibility, and it's not that there isn't business models that do similar things. It's just a point that we wanted to raise with. The other development that you had mentioned with like the horse trails and some of the other recreational trails, it is probably a similar thing. So again, there's not cases that do things like this, but it's just a concern that came up through staff discussion.
And Commissioner Chrisman, because it's an HOA easement, the liability may be less on the homeowners, but sometimes, they could get dragged into things and it could be a security issue. But those other two locations do have private easements. This one, again, abuts other people's properties as well, and on a small portion of it. So just the thought of putting together could raise issues, but it also could be benign as well, just depending on how well it's maintained.
thank you. I have another question that connects to that. Is there anything right now that is a vacant lot right now, right? Or slope or
Correct.
So is there anything right now stopping people climbing on that hill and invading privacy to the homeowners underneath?
There's some perimeter fencing, and it.
Thank you.
But they've been doing that for the last 40 years at least. But
Yeah, so having driven the property and taken a look at it today, and my second or third time out there, and being it's a private gated community, unlike I'm in Bridle Path, and we have all the trail systems in behind the houses and through to the different portions of the development and the rest of that, but we're not gated. And even the gated portions we share with Parks and Recs down Long Dog Alley, we haven't had very many security issues or privacy issues that I've been there for 30 plus years. So that's just my personal look at that. Could we move on to sidewalks or sidewalks? Okay, there we go. All right. So given the acknowledgement on your sidewalks, is there any specific project characteristics that led staff to conclude sidewalks would nevertheless be recommended here? It's gated community. It doesn't have any pass-through streets. It's just the community itself that's going to be traversing those streets. Well, of course, delivery drivers. But was there any other concerns with that?
Yeah, I'd say the two predominant attributes that contribute to that concern, as we can tell, the site is fairly steep. In a lot of these street segments, there will be some fairly steep segments that people are going to be walking on, where you don't have a sidewalk. You're going to be walking in the street, not just in the street as we said, where traffic, parked cars are, but it potentially pretty steep grades on some of those points. So that's one of the concerns. And the other concern is, just as we talked about with some of the amenities that they're going to from parks, dog parks, those types of things. If it was just a typical neighborhood where maybe there's not places to walk to, but if the goal is to have amenities where we want to promote this walking and community and ease of access, a sidewalk would be something that would be beneficial. And so that's one of the recommendations. But as we said, there are other places in Simi Valley that also omit sidewalks. It's not uncommon, it's not unusual, but still it's one of staff's recommendations, but we definitely defer to the Planning Commission to decide whether that's something that they agree with or not. So.
Thank you. Any other questions of staff? Commissioners? Okay. At this time, we'll open the public testimony portion of the hearing. Would the applicant like to present the project at this time?
Good evening, Chairman Kennedy, honorable members of the Planning Commission. My name's Gary Gorian. I'm with Colton Lee Communities. I'll be presenting here tonight, I guess I should say. Also with me tonight are my two partners, business partners, Dean Kunicki, as well as our company's president, David Alpern. Colton Lee Communities has been doing business in Simi Valley now for almost 30 years. I know that because my son is 29 and he was just born when we started. We have a deep love and a deep respect for Ventura County and for Simi Valley, this community in particular. And as such, we feel a tremendous pressure with any project that we design and bring forward, that it's built and designed in a way that will stand the test of time. And we take a lot of pride in when people come to us and tell us that they feel that way about our past subdivisions. Thank you for your time tonight, and thank you for the staff's time put in for the staff report that's in front of you. I'd like to just point out a few people in particular who's been very helpful as we've gone through the several iterations of design over the last 2 years in this project, one of which was Mr. Link in the traffic division, whose guidance has been invaluable to us for this entire project. Brent Seamer at Public Works is consistently top quality, gives us good input, and very steady hand when there's some challenges. He's good at bringing everybody together to come up with something that works from an engineering standpoint, so we appreciate him very much. Staff, planning, in particular, we'd like to thank Mr. Peros, who's not here tonight, and the superstar of this group is Sean Gibson. He's a workhorse, he's a problem solver, he's a mediator. When things get choppy, he's always very level-headed, and he brings us back in, and we come up with a solution that works for everybody, so we appreciate him very much. Tonight, we are respectfully requesting your approval for our property located on Cochran Street at 6024 Cochran Street. We're proposing a 58-home, single-family detached neighborhood here in Simi. You've heard the project overview for staff, so I'm going to be as quick as I can. As I said before, we're requesting two approvals tonight, one for the tentative tract map 6122, which subdivides the property into the 58 lots. The other is for a cluster development permit. This planning technique allows us to group the homes together as opposed to just evenly dispersing the homes over the site, which allows us to maintain a greater amount of open space. It's a good tool when we have a project that we can use it. Neither approval before you tonight requires a general plan amendment or a zone change. We're not requesting any concessions or waivers from the city of any kind. As such, the project is completely consistent with all project development standards in the city of Simi Valley. This makes it consistent with SB 330 and the Housing Accountability Act. In short, this project fits the zoning that's there. It doesn't request anything in addition to that, nothing more, nothing less. So as staff pointed out, the site is just a little bit under 20 acres. This is the definition of an infill development, classic infill development. It's surrounded by development on all four sides. As I said before, it enjoys an existing zoning of residential medium. The existing zoning is consistent with the residential fabric of the single-family developments adjacent to us. And the project is completely served by existing city infrastructure. Vehicle access is gated off of Cochran Street, as discussed before. It's an internal system. There's no reason for anybody else to come in and out of that other than they're a resident or invitee of the community. So here's our site plan. If you look where it says Cochrane, just below that, you'll see that it's a controlled entry, gated controlled entry. Parking is a big issue for us here. Every space is accommodated on site, so there's no spillover into the surrounding streets. This is something that we learned with our several discussions and our outreach with the neighbors adjacent with the property who live in this area. I should take a minute here. I know he took off. There's a lot of people in support of the pool thing, which sounds pretty good. I think I'm going to go play there when they're back. To Mike Shaw. This is a gentleman who's taken a tremendous amount of his time when we first started planning this to kind of help guide us from the viewpoint of the people who already live there. And he helped us craft the design that you see here today. What we heard over and over again is we have a problem with the condos adjacent spilling over into the neighborhood, and we don't want any cars from your project that end up in our neighborhood. So we listened very carefully, and this is how we came to this design. So with that said, each home has its own 2-car garage. Each home has a driveway that will also accommodate another 2 cars. And we have, as a function of the way we've designed these streets with no sidewalks, we have another 51 parking spaces along the streets there. So that gives us 283 parking spots. If you divide that by 58, that's almost 5 spaces per door. It's about 4.88. The plan also includes the private trail that staff discussed, and what maybe they didn't point out is there's a whole bunch of really beautiful scenic overlooks on the trail for the residents to go up and look at it. I think, we believe it'll be quite beautiful, the trail, and we think it's an amenity for the neighborhood as well. We've got 4 separate pocket parks. And we've got some dog parks, and we've got some kind of neat stuff for the people to use in the community. I've lived in Ventura County for 59 years. I was just sitting here thinking, I don't think I've ever lived in a neighborhood that has sidewalks in all the different neighborhoods I've lived in town. So we do not perceive that as something that's a concern at all. 75% of the site, if you look at it, stays either landscaped or open space. That's well beyond what the city code requires. And we're doing that as a function of the cluster development permit. Let's talk about the community character. 58 single-family detached homes. Our average lot size is 8,750 square feet. That's a real lot. That's not a townhome footprint. We're offering 3 different architectural styles with 3 different floor plans, and each of those can be reversed. So you'll have a total of 18 different housing types here for 58 lots, combined with the beautiful streetscape and the curvilinear streets and the grades that these are going to be on. It's going to be a spectacular neighborhood when it's finished. A lot of variety, and we're excited about that. Here are the architectural styles. We've got craftsman. You can see the tapered columns, exposed rafter tails there. Farmhouse, which anybody who watches Chip and Joanna knows is all the rage these days, with board and batten siding. It's got metal accents. We have Spanish, that's with the stucco and the clay. And if you couple this with our street layout and all the landscaping, it's going to look completely different than a traditional grid layout on a flat piece of property. Discussion of density. This point is worth underlining. The zoning that we have allows for 98 homes. We studied the site very carefully, and we studied the neighborhoods adjacent to us. We've met a lot of the neighbors, some of which are still here. in the end of that, we really felt that 98 was too much. And we designed this project where it sits now is actually the absolute lowest we're allowed to do by code or by law. So instead of having 98 homes there or units, you'll have 58 single-family detached homes. This probably was not the smartest financial decision we could have made, but we think over time, this is going to be just an absolute gem for the east side of Simi Valley. "75% of the site stays open space. We've got trails, we have parks, we have extremely generous landscaping. We've talked before about the pocket parks and the hiking. We hope that the commission will see fit to keep the trails in the proposal. Got the dog parks. We're planting 136 new trees throughout the community, including 12 oak trees. The trail is designed just to stay in our community. It's not open to the public, and we don't see any liability whatsoever because although it is on private property, the homeowners association will have an easement over that, and all the insurance will be provided by the homeowners association. It's going to be maintained by the HOA, so the city, it creates no burden to the city, and we just think it's a nice thing to provide to the people living in our neighborhood. A few specific comments on the community highlights. Everybody who's driven past there has seen those power lines running up that hill. So everything within the project will be undergrounded. That seems to have been a big plus for the neighbors adjacent to us as well. We are doing a 200-foot fuel mod zone versus 100, which is required. And we're also doing an enhanced fire sprinkler system well beyond code minimums, which we worked with fire to come up with some of these additions to the project. We're consistent as the project's designed, consistent with the general plan, we're consistent with the zoning. We require no amendments, no zone change. It complies with all the CEQA guidelines per section 15183. It's SB 330 and Housing Accountability Act compliant. And with that, we respectfully ask the commission to approve our proposal this evening and approve tentative track map 6122 as well as our cluster development permit, subject to the conditions in the staff report. And we're available for any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Excuse me, thank you. Go ahead and hang on a second. Commissioners, any questions of the applicant at this time?
You go ahead.
Yeah, could you tell us the type of oak trees that you plan on planting?
Well, I don't know exactly. I personally am a little bit partial to the valley oaks. There's Quercus agrifolia and Quercus lobata. I like Quercus lobata. Some of you who've been here for a long time know we've probably moved more oak trees in the city of Simi Valley than any other developer. We've moved millions of dollars worth of oak trees.
I'm only asking because I noticed that the biggest one you're putting in is actually from Southern Europe, and that was the reason why I was asking the question.
The oak tree?
Yeah, the one by the entrance.
Oh, well, we haven't.
That's the reason why I was and I couldn't find where the others
What it was?
were. I knew Mr. Kanicki had mentioned that you were putting the oaks in, but I couldn't find the actual types of oaks except for that one. So on the plan, so that's why I was asking the question.
We want to put a specimen oak tree in the entry.
Right.
Which we did. If anybody who's been to Parker Ranch knows that's what we do. We have to work with fire and we have to work with traffic to make sure that we can make the line of sight requirements. But we are planting, we looked at actually moving those 4 trees and like we did in Parker Ranch, but they were all of poor quality and would not have been suitable to move.
Go ahead.
Thank you. You mentioned extended fire prevention. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yes. So in addition to all of the building codes that have been enacted to box out the eaves so embers don't get in there and things of that nature, we've doubled the fuel modification zone from 100 to 200. And we're using an enhanced fire sprinkler protocol throughout all of the homes, which water spots that don't normally get water in a regular house, including the garage and some of the other areas.
Thank you. And if you had to go back to the drawing board and add the sidewalks, what would possibly be the consequences to the project?
Well, it would infuriate the neighbors because you would reduce the guest parking by 51 spots. That would be, I think, the biggest consequence. And at a certain point, you run into an issue in terms of what you're doing for that particular market, which would lead you to probably need to increase the density to use a smaller product.
Question. Is there parking on the street, or is there on both sides of the street, or just one side, or how's that work?
It's intermittently scattered. I don't know if staff has a slide they can put up, but it's scattered different places in different parts of the project. Some have parking on two, some have parking on one.
Depends on how wide it is.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Is the second gate, the one further up Cochrane, a resident-only gate, ingress, egress, or is it a guest visitor gate? I can't see much information on the second gate.
No, that's an emergency gate only.
Okay.
There's no ingress other than for fire department. As we complete the final engineering plans, that may be available for egress for the residents on a daily basis, or it might just end up being a strict emergency access.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you've answered almost all my questions. I really like the idea of no concessions or waivers and the density, and not asking for density bonuses and the stuff we normally see here. On a personal note, I happen to own a property in Prescott, Arizona that is in a development almost exactly like this, gated, private trails, all HOA maintained, and it's hopefully I'll retire there one of these days. But yeah, this is I like this cluster development aspect. So so we'll move on now. Let me see. Is there anyone in the chamber wishing to be heard on this matter? And I do have some cards. So here are two cards that do not want to speak. And Adam Soldani, or if I get that right, Soudani, in support of the project. I have a second do not wish to speak card, and Adam Mulligan, who's in opposition of this project. And I have speaker cards. We go with those next? Okay, here we go. Okay, Lauren Click, if I'm reading this great, and comment only.
Good evening, Chairperson, members of the Commission. My name is Lauren Click. I'm a Simi Valley homeowner. I'm also a board-certified master arborist. I was disappointed in reviewing the plans to see the proposed removal of all mature trees on the site. I understand that the project proposed or looked into through the arborist report if they could be moved. Of course, they can't be moved. They're on slopes. They're in certain locations. And the project does discuss also retaining large areas of open space. Unfortunately, the grading that's proposed will destroy all of the existing open space, especially the coastal sage scrub community that's described in the EIR. It's going to be compacted. It's going to have a new landscape with little ecological function. When you have an existing statement valley oak tree right next to that retention basin that's proposed, rather than importing a tree from another location. In addition, it sounds like the remaining areas of open space will be mowed annually due to those excess of the usual abatements. So I would just ask that the commission consider if there's a way to preserve at least 2 of these trees. That's trees 1 and 3. Those are the ones, the valley oaks closest to Cochrane. These trees are native to our community. The best oak is one that is grown from acorn here. The next best oak is same species, so Quercus lobata, the valley oak. They unfortunately can't be replaced by nursery stock, which often could be poorly grown or might be planted or maintained incorrectly. So I would just like to add that the tree number 1 area is right next to some of the open space that is to be preserved, that coastal sage scrub community, and maybe 15 feet from that is that tree that would be graded away. I also just wanted to point out that retaining notable valley oaks, of course, is common in Simi developments. Just across the 118 is the White Oak neighborhood, named for the trees that were preserved. And then we also have some large trees north of the 118 and, of course, closer to this development. So I just would thank the commission for their time and consider preserving those trees. It's worth to add the neighborhood character and preserve that amenity for the community to enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Scott Auld. Did I get that right?
Good evening. My name is Scott Auld. I'm a Simi Valley homeowner. I'm actually one of the homeowners that butts up on the south side of the project. And it distresses me greatly to hear that this project is going to include a trail that goes right through my property. Also, the buildings and the dog park encroach on my property, and it's a steep hill, and all of these houses that are built uphill from my house are going to have a direct view into my backyard. It's not just one house that will have a direct view. It's several, into my yard, into my neighbor's yard. It's a privacy issue. It's a sound issue. I have dogs that are going to bark at every single dog that they see in that dog park all day long. So I won't be able to use my backyard for my own use. I won't be able to use my backyard for my dogs because they will be loud 24/7 if they see dogs or people on the trail. The scenic view that was mentioned earlier on the trail is my backyard, and I don't like that. I mean, I bought my house 5 years ago because I wanted privacy, and that's all going to be taken away from me. And my neighbor just texted me that Simi Valley's Hillside Performance Standards, SVMC Chapter 9-32, regulates development on natural slopes of greater than 20% to protect the city's topography. And I don't think that this is greater than or equal to 20%. The first time I heard about this project was when I got this postcard 2 weeks ago. He's never come and talked to me. He's talked to the other neighbors, apparently, but he hasn't talked to me. And I'm probably the closest property to the project. So I want to ask each one of you, would you like to have a project being 58 homes developed in your backyard that's going to remove all privacy, greatly upset your dogs? I don't think anybody here would want that. So I request that you deny this permit.
Thank you. Okay, the next speaker that we have is David Berry.
My name is David Berry. I've lived here in Simi for 43 years. And the gentleman spoke before me. He's even closer, but I'm fairly close. I live on Welcome Court, so I'm immediately west of the development. And yeah, I do support this development. It's a major upgrade from what was approved there before. I never believed that we should put a medical business in the middle of a residential area. I like most of what I see, but I do have one major concern specific to me as an individual and my family. Around 2003, construction debris from White Oak development on the north side of the freeway came down our sewer line, plugged up at my sanitary tee, and backflowed my house with raw sewage. Yeah, go ahead, shake your heads. That was a fun one. But I'm a little concerned because on page 17, it shows an 8-inch sewer line going out to Cochrane, and that's uphill from Welcome Court. So I'm going to assume their sewage is gonna go into Cochrane, come down to the Welcome Court T, and come down my street. So I'm a little concerned about the volume of sewage coming out of there from 58 houses. Because if I remember correctly, going back 20-plus years, the sewer line in Welcome Court is an 8-inch sewer line, if I remember correctly. So I'm a little concerned about that. And as far as the walking trail on the property, on the north side of Sinai Drive between Cochrane and Cuner, or between Yosemite and Cuner, there's a horse trail there. And I've walked that frequently. I've never seen any problems on that horse trail. So I would imagine that a walking trail on that property wouldn't be much of a problem. So, yeah, as proposed, I like what they're going to build. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Scott Layton.
Good evening. I'm Scott Layton. I also live on Welcome Court. And right before COVID hit, we were all in neighborhood council, planning commission, even the council, all got together and we got rid of a project that was supposed to be put in there. 300, about long as a football field, 3 stories high, medical center. They call it a medical center. It's not really a medical center, but I forget what it's called for, but it was a monstrosity. This project here is what it was meant to be in our neighborhood. And we do have problems with the condos, and they have 98 spots in their place for guest parking, but their association won't let them park there. So their overflow comes down our streets. So it's very nice that these guys are considering the parking in our neighborhood, because that is a big problem when you come out there and you can't park in front of your own house. So I appreciate these guys and what they're trying to do, and it'll be a lot better than the monstrosity that was going to be built there. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Steve Parley. Did I get that right? Parle. There we go.
So, I'm Steve Parle. I live at the house that I would say has the most impact from this project. I share a 350-foot property line with the development as proposed. I guess about a year ago or two, Dean did approach me and assured me that my family's home would be in mind, and he was respectful, and he seemed genuine in trying to minimize the impact on my property. At the time, he did talk about offering a 10-foot landscape buffer to buffer the noise before, during the construction and after the project's complete. However, I'm really concerned with the plans as they are right now. The hiking trail that spans that my entire property line is an invasion of privacy. The heights of the adjacent houses, I guess that can't really be avoided, but this hiking or running trail should be removed. I'm also concerned about the catch basin that they have planned right next to my property, which could be overwhelmed by rain and cause my property to flood. If you've actually been to the site, you realize how steep everything is about this project. It seems, when you talk about putting 58 homes on 19 acres, when you factor in all of the steep inclines, all of the common area, all of the area they're not really building on. You're talking about lots, flat lots that are about the same size as the structures. And I know that, you know, this is America and you really want to just maximize profit at all costs. So I guess that's why they're doing that, but it really wouldn't fit. It really is dense when you consider just the flat parcels that they'll have. I really also am concerned about the lack of sidewalks. If you look at how steep it is, there's blind curves. If there's no place for even the residents to walk, I think there's going to be traffic collisions, pedestrian traffic collisions as well. So I think there really needs to be sidewalks. If you can visit the property, you'll see how that would, and all the curves and all the problems that will create. So I'm really not completely against this project. I just don't like some of these issues, and I think that if the Planning Commission could address these before we consider moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Morgan Wilson.
Sorry to dress for the occasion. I'm late to the party, but I'm early to the neighborhood. I grew up on Rockdale, moved in there before the house was built, or moved in there when it was built in '71. The whole idea of tearing that hill down and putting houses on it is icky, but that's not really important. I realize it's privately owned and people want to make their money and put houses there. I do have concerns about the intersection on St. Clair and Cochrane because I go through that neighborhood. My sister still lives in that house. I frequent that neighborhood. That intersection, adding 100 more cars coming down that street, trying to pull out probably from those condos makes it hard to see. You have to pull out into the street to get a view. So I have concerns with that being an uncontrolled intersection and that many cars coming through there every day. I also have concerns about what's going to wash down onto my street. I slid down that hill in the drainage ditch when I was a little kid. I can only imagine when they start tearing it down, what's going to slide down that hill and into the cul-de-sac at the end of that street and down my street. I have concerns. I assume that this is a project that is going to go forward one way or another. I had no idea about any of it until I got a letter this week. So I wonder how many of my neighbors right there on Rockdale have no idea that this is really going forward. I really don't know. I guess I would hope that maybe they get a chance to actually learn about it before it starts happening because, like I said, we still live there. I had no idea that any of this was going on. There's a few concerns. That's the ones I can think of. The hiking trail, I think that I'm down far enough on the street that people won't be looking into my backyard, but the houses will be. So I just have concerns, wanted to register those. And I don't know what happens here today. I don't know if you guys make a decision going forward or not, but I don't think a lot of people really know this is going to happen right up the street from their house. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last card I have is from Tony, is it Rojas? Rogers. Spelling. I'm bad at that.
So overall, I'm in support of the project. I like the way it's laid out. I commend you guys for doing the due diligence of looking at the parking. I do support whatever the people have said about the parking that from the condos that end up on our street. I am concerned about the sewage. There was an event many years ago where it backed up the houses, so maybe someone could look at that. I agree with the arborist that spoke earlier. I just love nature. I would love to see that those trees can be repurposed somewhere, maybe on the property somewhere. They are native here. They were here before probably most of all of us. I've lived on this planet. And then I have, now I'm at that age where I have grandchildren. And the last time we were here, we spoke about the concerns about the big senior center that was going to be put there. And what we got was a sign, right, to slow down. And there's been 2 events where my grandson and I were walking across out of Welcome Court over into the condos. And literally, it's startling on how fast that blind curve is and how fast people start coming down it. And it's, you know, it's a grab event and run, right? You know, because they're coming down at maybe 55 miles an hour. And you know, to the comments that were made earlier, I would just love to see someone address that with speed bumps or, you know, I don't want to say a stop sign because that's just an inconvenience. I want to say a street light because that's a neighborhood. But I think speed bumps are a way. There's children that live literally just wonderful kids that play with my grandson right on Cochrane, and they have a basketball court out there. And some of the times I've seen these cars come around that bend and come down there, it's just it's scary and it's concerning. When I've often thought to myself, I should just get some asphalt, do it myself, and then you guys will, you know, come out there, be all pissed off, and just say, all right, you know what, we're just going to do this right. Someone went to the you know, the time and money to do this. So it's a small gesture for, you know, both the city, you know, for the safety of the community, the children that live in there, and God, if you've seen a child get hit by a car, that lies on you because you guys are the ones who are planning this. Again, I support it and everything you do, but I want to see safety in mind when it comes to the children of the community. And it's a small fee, right? You know, and it doesn't, a speed bump doesn't take much to maintain. With that, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, are there any comments from staff regarding statements made during the public hearing?
Yes, the first response I wanted to talk about, the hillside performance standards was mentioned briefly in one of the comments from the public. Just to clarify, the hillside performance standards is an ordinance that's put into place to protect our hillsides, but there's a designated area that is applicable to and an area that it's not applicable to. There's an area within the valley floor of Simi Valley that hillside performance standards does not apply to. This project site is not within the hillside performance standards. It's what we would consider in the valley floor. So those standards wouldn't be applicable to that, though the principles and ideas are good in practice. Regarding some of the traffic concerns, we do have our traffic engineer that I'll defer some of those commentary and some of those questions to him. And then as well, some of the other concerns that were raised regarding some of the tree removals, some of the trails, some of the drainage and sewage. I'll defer to the applicant to maybe address some of those questions and concerns. But other than that, I think we'll defer to our traffic engineer to address some of the traffic concerns that were brought up.
And I think what might be, if you have questions of our traffic engineer, Mr. Link could come up. If you don't have questions, he may not need to come up. In addition to that, and Neil's comments, just for the record, one of the applicant's slides indicated that the maximum density was 5.8 units per acre. It should be 5 units per acre, and which would give them a maximum density of 97 units without a density bonus. So they're also not applying for a density bonus, but just for the record, they're well below that density cap nonetheless. And there was a discussion about some proposed trees shown on the conceptual landscape plan. That is just a conceptual landscape plan, so the final tree type may be adjusted after the approval process during a construction plan check, where a tree type would be finalized at that point per current procedures.
With the city.
With the city.
Right. Could we have Mr. Link?
Yes. Could we have Mr. Link up? Thank you.
So that we can at least respond to the question about St. Clara Street intersection.
Good evening, Commissioners. I didn't dress for the occasion either, so my apologies. I normally look a little bit smarter than this, but
You look like a traffic engineer. It's good.
then I'm playing the part. So yeah, the question did come up about St. Clair. So the traffic study did actually address indirectly the level of traffic that is on Cochrane Street at this location. And I also brought the pages out of the California Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices to discuss where and when we would do stop signs. So The traffic study, which was conducted and took counts in 2025, measured the ADT, the average daily traffic on Cochrane, to be about 2,500 vehicles per day. This project would add approximately 453 trips to Cochrane Street to the west, so a total of 2,938. So as far as the MUTCD is concerned, the minimum threshold for considering an all-way stop at any particular intersection is 300 vehicles total on the major street, or whatever you would consider to be the major street, for a total of 8 hours. So you'd be looking at needing to see at the bare minimum, and again, this is guidance. The first part of the chapter will actually say that engineering judgment is the primary consideration for installation of any kind of control at an intersection, but the bare minimum volumes for consideration of a multi-way stop is 300 vehicles for a period of 8 hours at minimum. So that would be approximately, in this case, even with the project, 80% of the traffic for the entire day would have to be condensed down to 8 hours. So we just don't have the trips. That's why you would see at St. Clair, we have a minor street stop, because the volumes are not sufficient to trigger that requirement for the major street. I think there was, let's see, a question about speed humps. I don't know if you wanted me to address that.
Could you? Yeah.
Absolutely. So the city does have a speed hump policy, and that speed hump policy specifies that these devices are to be used in residential streets. Now, this is where it gets tricky. So just because that you have a residences next to or adjacent to a street does not make it a residential street under the California Vehicle Code. They actually have to have the front door fronting on the street and be within 25 feet of that street. So technically, Cochrane Street east of Welcome Court is not considered a residential street on the California Vehicle Code and is therefore ineligible. Now, we'll say a couple months back, we did install signage on Cochrane Street in the southbound direction to enhance or recommend a speed for that curve. And we actually, there's a device called a ball bank indicator. It's a little plastic ball on the inside of a fluid, and you attach it to a car, and it actually tells you what the comfortable speed is. So we took out one of our cars, drove this, installed the sign that recommends the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. So that's not to say that we're not going to have drivers that will exceed that speed limit as people test the waters, but that's not necessarily an engineering issue, it's an enforcement issue. So I would certainly encourage anybody that is seeing issues with that to call Simi Valley PD. Another consideration for that, it was actually taken care of in the traffic study itself. You might have noticed that the consultant conducted a speed survey on the street and noted that while the 85th percentile was at 37 miles per hour, that's not out of the ordinary of what we would see on residential streets, especially a street that then leads into, from a non-residential application to a residential application. So eventually you'll see speeds slowing as you get into the neighborhood.
Real quick, what is the base speed limit for that street right now?
On Cochrane, west of Welcome Court, it's 25 miles per hour. To the eastbound, it's 35.
Okay, so it hits you at 37. Got it. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Link.
Okay, any other questions of staff? All right, would the applicant like to respond to any of the comments regarding statements made during the public hearing?
We're available for any questions, but we have nothing else.
Could you answer the, is it okay if I?
Oh,
Could you answer the question about the sewer line? by any
Yeah,
chance?
actually, I spoke with the gentleman, I think he's over there.
Okay, sorry.
About that, and also when we were at Neighborhood Council, I thought that I'd given the other gentleman my phone number. The only thing I can say is what he thought happened there was when the project was being constructed on the north side, somebody busted up a whole bunch of PVC and washed it down the sewer, and then it backed up. Am I saying that right? And then, yeah, so it plugged and it, did what it did, which is horrible. In construction, we try to monitor everything, but it is the last good that is built by hand, and some of those people can be less responsible than others. What I did was give my cell phone number. If there's ever a problem with construction, we all live in Ventura County. One of us will be there, and we'll be there quick.
With a plunger.
If I might,
Please.
Brent Seymour, Deputy Director of Public Works. Probably be following those types of incidences, projects like Big Sky, Runkle. Pretty much Public Works requires that the sewer be capped, stopped, and blocked so that any development comes along, because you get at the end, someone that's doing the grout work or something like that, stuff goes down the drain. It'll get stuck at a manhole, it'll plug up, and that's the developer to clean and fix. So when the project's completely done, then they open it up and then it comes down. So I think there's been a learning curve just in the industry that happens. And so that's now a new method that we put in place to protect these kind of situations happening.
Thank you.
Thank you. You want to go with trees 1 and 3? All right, we've got a couple more questions. Hang on.
I guess it's a question. Can we see the location of the trees 1 and 3?
There we go.
Can you hit tree number 1?
I could say this is an exhibit here showing some of the perimeters, but tree 1 is right here and tree 3 right here that was referenced. So they're near the entry, and there's no building there, but one I think is in the drainage basin and one is on the other side of the entry.
Thank you. I also have a question about some of the neighbors were not notified in time, that it's their belief. Wasn't there also a neighborhood council hearing on this? And when was it?
Yeah, that's correct. There was a neighborhood council meeting. I think it was in May or June is when that meeting happened. There's usually not noticing that goes out for the neighborhood council. There's noticing that goes out for the planning commission meetings, but.
And there's also, if I'm not mistaken, there needs to be like really big signage when there's a public hearing.
Correct, yeah, there's postings. The applicant posted a signage, but again, that posting and those noticing aren't months in advance. They're only weeks in advance.
Yeah, thank you.
A couple of the residents asked about the catch basin. Did you cover that with Mr. Seamers, or?
If I have a more specific part of the question.
They were concerned that the catch basin isn't adequate.
I'm going to leave that to the engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll jump in. Public Works does have criteria that will capture the flows, and it takes a 100-year storm down to the 10-year. We also require that path be provided. Then, on top, when everything else goes wrong, we also make sure there's an emergency path of travel. And so we are aware that there's certain points where if the basin were to fail, it's going to be directed in a safe direction, just not go over the basin, have the basin fail, those sorts of things. So in the final design, all of those details have to be implemented to ensure that we don't endanger a neighboring property.
More than likely, this is a pretty obvious question, but not a flood zone.
That's correct. It wouldn't be a flood zone.
Trees 1 and 3, that was brought up earlier by the arborist that spoke. Had you considered the impact to your project of retaining those trees?
We have, but not retaining them in place because the grading wouldn't work. But on any project, as I think I stated earlier in my initial presentation, any tree of value, we like to reuse on the site. And again, if you want to drive through Parker Ranch, we spent millions of dollars and we moved 77 trees with great success there. We wanted to use those trees also, but the reality of it is we defer to our experts, and our arborist rated, there were 5 trees. 4 of them are oaks, one's a pine tree. Every one of the oaks was in poor condition. So they're not candidates to move. What I can say is that we intend to replant a specimen tree, which we're going to plant 4 oaks to the, and we're going to plant, or is it, it's 12? Sorry, 12 oaks. taking out 4 trees. We're going to plant 12 oaks. And we're really, to the extent we can make it work from the line of sight, want to put a beautiful specimen 60-inch box up towards the front. I can't commit to that because we don't know if the line of sight's going to work yet, but that'll all be worked out in the landscape plan.
Great. That's all I have. Any other commissioners?
I want to just ask, does the 10 feet landscape buffer offer stand still? To the neighbor that was offered the 10-foot landscaping buffer?
Well, I was a little bit surprised with that because actually he met with me. I don't think he met with Dean, and we were out there, and I thought he was pretty bullish on the project, particularly as opposed to the project that will get built if this doesn't get built. And I have a note here to meet with him again. And we even might just discuss that one little section of trail there by his, because that's not set in stone there, house there. So I think he has more than a 10-foot buffer now if you look at that landscaping. And what he's not going to have is ambulances coming in at 2 o'clock in the morning and things like that. So I'll reach out again to Dr. Parle on that issue. One other thing, maybe I was remiss in my initial presentation, because I've heard some people say that they didn't know about this. We met a lot of people at the neighborhood council. It was a full house. And our neighborhood council vote was 7-2 from the neighborhood council. And all 6 members of the audience who lived in that neighborhood, all of them voted in favor.
Are you guys also open, because there's a couple of other people who didn't get the opportunity to meet with you? Are you open to meeting?
Oh yeah, and we're easy to find. Anybody can call us, and I'll go give everybody phone numbers out there. We're happy to meet with anybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Tolson? Good. Oh, I saw you up on the board here. Okay. Commissioner Rice? You look like you have a question. Got it. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
If there are no further questions, we will close the public testimony portion of the hearing. Are there any comments or questions from members of the Planning Commission at this time? Yes.
Okay, there's a lot to like about this project. First, I love the dog parks. I think the dog parks are great. You've got a little dog park, you got a big dog park. I love the architectural styles. They're beautiful. They're 4-sided architecture, everything we've wanted for since I've been here. It's fantastic. I like the trail personally. Also, I don't think the sidewalks are necessary. Walking up through up Flanagan and walking through previously Monterre before they gated it off. The people up there have sidewalks, and they don't walk on the sidewalks. They walk down the middle of the street. And up through Chumash Park and stuff everybody walks in the street. So, I think what would happen in a smaller neighborhood like this with only 58 homes is that people would walk in the street, they'd walk to the dog park, they'd walk to these pocket parks, they'd walk on this trail. And I think that would be really nice. It would get people out and walking around. I think that's fantastic. That part I really, really like. I really wish you could save those oak trees. And look, I get it. You can't save all of them, and some of them are in really, really bad condition. I can't figure out why the pictures you put in the pictures we have in the packet are far better than the way the trees actually look in real life. Because I've been out there looking at them multiple times, and I wish we could save at least 1 and 3, but I understand, because then you have to take out the retention basin, and then that's then that water would flood down the neighbors, and that's not good. But I would hope that when you landscape, that you work really hard with the city landscaper to put in some native trees and and also some other native plants, maybe like lemonade berry or something like that, which the birds love and that sort of stuff. I think that would be great. But other than that, I like the project. And my biggest concern is the oak trees, but I don't see any other way around it. I like the size of this project. I like the scale of the project. And yes, I would hate to be the neighbor who has that house above them. But unfortunately, this is somebody's property that's had this property, and they could have easily, this could have happened 20 years ago or 30 years ago. And people have enjoyed this hillside for a very long time and the naturalness of it. But, this person has finally gotten around to using it. So it is what it is, I guess. So I'm in favor of this project.
Commissioner Tolson?
Sure. It could be also a four-story housing or hospital, looking at that property. The project that's presented is very good. The number of units is ideal for this size. I like the articulation in the farmhouse and the craftsman. The Spanish, I think, let's make sure that we have enough different look on that with the tile, maybe in different places would be good. The arborist, Lauren, let's keep you around for other projects around town. We love your enthusiasm. And overall, I love the project as it is. And then I've got 3 children who all live on housing complexes with no sidewalk, so it's no big deal.
Commissioner Chrisman?
Thank you. I like this project as is. I am a runner. I run every day, and I don't run on the sidewalks because it happened many times that the sidewalks are not even, and then I trip and fall. I did not sue the city. But I see the same thing that you see, that all the neighbors are walking on the street. I don't live in a gated community, and it's still the same thing over and over again. I also think that this project belongs to Simi. It's single-family homes. It's something that we are very proud of, and it adds to our overall image. I like the retention of open space, and I like that the project is actually not visible from the highway, so there's not noise pollution to the neighbors as well. I am one of those homes that lives back up to the hiking trail, and when I was purchasing my home, I wasn't aware of that, even though I specifically asked the developer, because it was a new community, if that is a hiking trail, and they said that that was just an access road for fire. So I live with that. I understand the concept of privacy and invasion of privacy. However, have I known that, I would be able to decide whether I want to buy a home there or not. Not at all. Maybe that wouldn't be for me. But I don't think that we as the city should be deciding on what private homeowners want or not want when it comes to the living backed up to the hiking trail. I feel like that's most of my comments. I am in favor of this project, as is.
Commissioner Mann?
Unlike Commissioner Chrisman, I am not a runner. I am not running on those trails in any way, shape, or form. I do commend the developer for not trying to squeeze out every single home that you could. I think the project as it is a great project. Compared to what was trying to be approved there before, this is just, it's a huge win. I do feel for the neighbors that are negatively affected by this development. There's no fair way or happy compromise for this development to go on without affecting somebody adversely. I do feel for you, but I don't see any other option as far as trying to mitigate anything that would afford him to keep his privacy while still allowing you to build on your property that you own. The trail issue, since it's not required by the city, it's up to the developer. The marketplace will tell you whether the trails are or not a good idea. In all respect, it's up to the individual homeowners to deal with the HOA if there's any issues or liability. That's not for us to be concerned with. Overall, again, I think it's a great project. I am for it. Thank you.
So I like the idea of a cluster development. Like I said, I own a property in one right now. And to your point, people walk in the street, they talk in the street, and they do that. The flexibility that the cluster offers over a traditional subdivision, you exchange it for the better site planning that you guys have done. You preserve the open space. You enhance the community amenities. I think it fits well within the neighborhood. And it wasn't too long ago, I said, you deal with the devil that you have today or the proposed devil that you may have tomorrow. In this case, the proposed development before this would have had a much more impact in that neighborhood than this one. So that's my overall view of this particular project. Okay, we're at that point. May I please have a reading of the resolution?
Resolution number SBPC 10-2026, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Simi Valley to consider a cluster development permit CDS 2025-0001 and tentative map TT 2025-0004 to construct 58 single-family homes on a 19.53 acre parcel and create one remainder parcel located at 6024 Cochrane Street, and a determination that the project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act.
Thank you. The chair will now entertain a motion.
I move to adopt a resolution approving CDS 2025-0001 /TT-2025-0004.
May I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Call for the vote.
Vote passes unanimously.
The appeal period for CD-S-2025-0001 is 14 calendar days, and for TT-2025-0004 is 10 calendar days. Okay, let's proceed to the next item. Oral communications and reports. Staff, does staff have anything to report?
Yes, Chairperson Kennedy. Just a couple housekeeping items. We sent you a message on your emails regarding the upcoming Ventura County Housing Conference put on by Housing Opportunities Made Easier. That is October 1st. Planning commissioners may attend complimentary. I just need to know if any of you would like to attend so we could reserve a spot for you.
I will check my calendar and get back to you.
And as of now, our August 12th planning commission date may be canceled. So just give you a heads up on that.
Since I won't be here. Is that it for staff reports? Okay. Do the commissioners have anything to report?
I'm good for October 1st on that housing.
There we go.
Please.
Mobile Home Rent Mediation Board, does staff have anything to report?
No items tonight.
Tree Advisory Board, does staff have anything to report?
Yes, Chairperson Kennedy, per previous planning commission requests, we are continuing to prepare a report to provide an overview on the tree ordinance. So that's still being prepared, but we will bring that back to commission in the coming meetings.
Excellent, thank you on that. Without anything else, this concludes the meeting of July 22nd, 2026. The next scheduled meeting will be August 12th, 2026. Meeting is adjourned.